So Donald Trump had two events yesterday in Ohio, big crowds, lots of virus flying around. And I want to focus in on the second event here. Donald Trump did one event at Dayton's airport and then later drove about an hour north to some other part of Ohio and did an event later on in the day. Donald Trump continues to just lie about coronavirus. Coronavirus has now killed more than 204,000 people in the United States. It doesn't matter. Trump insists he's done great. We're doing great. And he actually has the audacity to say coronavirus affects virtually nobody. That's a quote. 204, almost 205,000 dead Americans. Trump says it affects virtually nobody.
The disease, we didn't know it. Now we know it. It affects elderly people with heart problems and other problems. If they have other problems, that's what it really affects. That's it. You know, in some states, thousands of people, nobody young, below the age of 18, like nobody. They have a strong immune system. Who knows? You take your hat off to the young because they have a hell of an immune system. But it affects virtually nobody. It's an amazing thing. By the way, open your schools. Everybody open your schools.
It affects virtually nobody. Can you imagine? Imagine having lost family members to coronavirus and hearing Trump say it affects virtually nobody. 2 Americans died of Ebola, and Donald Trump called for Barack Obama's resignation. 204,000 Americans have died of this virus, and Trump is saying we get an A+. He said that to Fox News earlier in the day yesterday. And we are seeing the virus affect virtually nobody. You decide whether this is someone who's earned 4 more years. Trump still struggling to just speak English, still unable to pronounce Ulysses S. Grant.
Annie Oakley, William McKinley, and the amazing Ulysses S. Grant. That's good.
That's a sort of like a packaged section of speech that Trump is using a lot, where he just lists American historical figures. The crowd actually seems to like it, and it's not surprising if you look at who's willing to be crowded together for hours right now, given what's going on with the virus, it's not surprising that some of those same people react positively and cheer when Trump just names historical figures. Trump then encouraging the crowd to report unsolicited mail-in ballots to authorities. What? If you're confused, I'm confused. It's unclear what he's actually asking people to do.
The great state of Ohio. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your coworkers, get everybody, and get out and vote. Got to get out and vote. And in your state, in Ohio, early voting has already begun, and don't wait. And when you see them cheating on the other side, I don't say if, when you see them cheating with those ballots, all of those unsolicited ballots, those millions of ballots, you see them, anytime you do, report them to the authorities. The authorities are waiting and watching.
Report unsolicited ballots sent to other people. And importantly, to stay with the facts and to stay with reality, Ohio isn't sending unsolicited absentee ballots. What Ohio decided to do is to send out ballot applications. If you want an absentee ballot, you fill out the application and you send it in, then you'll get a ballot. If you don't, you're not going to get a ballot, plain and simple. Then, as part of the victimization tour that continues, Donald Trump continues to whine and complain that NBC didn't talk about his Nobel Prize nomination. They instead covered the hurricane that was ravaging parts of the country. Take a look.
It's a big deal for our country, right? And she said, oh, that's good. I said, let's turn on the evening news. Let's watch it. This is going to be a big show tonight. Get ready. And NBC, which is one of the most crooked, one of the worst newscasts. And I'm talking about normal NBC, not MSDNC. MSDNC is the worst. But so I turned on NBC with Lester Holt, another beauty. And they start with a hurricane, and then they went to something, and something else. And And I'm saying, First Lady, this is getting a little embarrassing. We're 20 minutes into a half-hour show. They haven't mentioned the Nobel Peace Prize. And then it went through the whole show, and they never mentioned. Then I got nominated for a second one. They never mentioned.
Trump actually seems to think that these silly nominations by right-wing politicians, most recently this right-wing politician from Norway nominated Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. He thinks that's real news when there's a hurricane ravaging people's homes and lives in different parts of the country. It's the epitome of self-centeredness and narcissism that has become, unfortunately, commonplace in American politics. And then for the second straight election cycle, Trump is campaigning on all the same stuff. He's campaigning on middle income tax cuts. He's campaigning on build a wall. He's president now. Why can't he do it now? Take a look.
That's got a seat. It's got a seat in. And we have a lot of new things, including additional substantial middle income tax cuts and other tax cuts and tremendous regulation cuts. And we're finishing up with our military. You know, we're building Space Force. The wall is going incredibly. It's going.
This is part of something we've been covering for a little while now, which is Trump is running like he's not the president. Elect me and I'll do tax cuts. Elect me and I'll do health care reform. I'll replace Obamacare. I'll build a wall. I'll fix the suburbs. I'll do whatever. He's been president for 4 years. Why hasn't he done these things already? He controlled the House and Senate for the first 2 of those years. He's had the Senate all 4 years. We need to reelect him to get him to do anything. It doesn't make sense. And then in barely concealed racism, Donald Trump says that if Joe Biden wins, Biden, as well as Black Senator Cory Booker, are going to destroy the suburbs.
You know, I ended a regulation that will destroy suburbia. If Biden got in, they will destroy the suburbia. We call it suburbia of the world, and we love it. I know it well. Westchester County, the suburban. They sometimes, if you say suburban housewife, you're in deep trouble. So what you do is you say suburban women. They love me. You know why? They want security, and they don't want projects being right next to their house. That's okay. They don't want it. And by the way, that includes minorities because 29 to 30% of the suburban communities are minorities, and that includes them. They don't want that. They want safe communities. They want great communities. They don't want to lose the American dream. It's very simple. I got rid of the regulation from Obama, Biden that was destroying suburbia. Okay? Destroying it. And I think suburbia has got to wake up because if they get in, you know who's in charge? You know who's in charge of the program? Cory Booker. Cory Booker.
The crowd doesn't have any idea what Trump is talking about. I can assure you, it doesn't matter. They'll still cheer, sort of half-heartedly. And one bonus clip from Trump's earlier event where he was in Dayton, Ohio, Trump tells just a never-ending story. It's 5 minutes long. I'm only going to play 40 seconds for you. Trump goes on an incoherent, unintelligible story about why steam power is better than electric power for military ships. I can't make heads or tails out of this, but notice how the crowd is silent. They don't have any idea what this guy's talking about.
The admirals a lot. I got a lot of admirals. I like the admirals. I want to meet with the catapulters. Sir, what would you want to meet with the catapulters for? I want to find out why the hell the catapulters don't work. So I went there, and you know, they did a new system. It's electric. It's all electric. So instead of steam, which is simple and great, and powerful, and good, and they know how it works for years and years, they decide to go all electric. Now, if you take a little glass of water, take this glass of water, you throw it on, and that's the end of that. You bring somebody in from MIT. How the hell do you fix it? And we're dealing with the ocean. And rockets being shot at the ship and the rough stuff, right? But it wasn't working.
It went on and on from there. I'm not going to subject you to all of it, but these events, bizarre in every way, and in particular, I said this yesterday, kindergarten and first grade teachers, they don't know how to get the whole class to sit silently. Trump has figured out how to do it with a crowd of 1,000. He can get them to just be silent, almost still, like not moving, with these bizarre non sequitur stories. And we are going to see many more of these rallies this week, leading up, of course, to the first presidential debate next Tuesday. I will be streaming live starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time next Tuesday. I would love it for you to watch the debate with me. We will be live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. That's next week. In the meantime, more coverage of these whacked rallies on our Instagram page, David Pakman Show, and follow me on Instagram at david.pakman to see a picture of the beautiful cake that YouTube sent me for our 1 million subscriber milestone. A gigantic cake. They sent me a cake that would normally feed 30 people. There's a picture of it on my Instagram. David.Pakman. Quick break. Back after this. One of our sponsors today is Monk Pack Keto Granola Bars, and they are giving you 20% off when you go to davidpakman.com/snack and use the coupon code Pakman. You know, a lot of these low carb snack bars have a reputation for not tasting great, but I can tell you from trying these myself that that is not the case with the Monk Pack Keto Granola Bars. They taste just as good, if not better, than the sugar-filled, chewy granola bars that many of us love. But these contain only 1 gram of sugar, 2 net carbs, only 140 calories. They're completely plant-based and gluten-free. Great for anybody following a low-carb diet, but also perfect for anybody like me who's just trying to reduce sugar intake, which I think is a good thing. I've been working on a box of these at home. They're delicious, soft, chewy texture, bunch of great flavors, including peanut butter, coconut cocoa chip, which is my personal favorite. It's great for a quick breakfast, a snack in the afternoon. I have been loving these. You can get to their website by going to davidpakman.com/snack. The link is under this video, and you'll get 20% off when you use the coupon code Pakman.